Hey Clicks fans, this is Hunter with Dial H for HeroClix, and we are here with another sealed product review. Today we're going to discuss the X-Men Days of Future Past Alpha Class Sentinel. And this is a scenario pack that is at a value of MSRP $29.99, which is a pretty big price tag. But we're getting a Colossal figure in it, and we're getting some other things that will maybe get us up to that value. So as usual, the purpose of this video is to go over the things that are in the product, talk about how good they are, how much you're getting, and then me give my honest suggestion on is it worth your money? Is it worth $30? The overall contents of the package are one Colossal and 48 Horde Tokens. That's how many tokens total, and we will open it up and see like how many different ones of each there are in there. And then 2 maps, and I'll also give you guys a look at those. And another cool part about this is that the Colossal actually comes with interchangeable parts for the Colossals. So I'll break it out, show it to you, and show you how that works. Alright, so I want to start off by just quickly pointing out that the actual packaging is really cool. The inside of the box has artwork from Days of Future Past. I don't know if it's kind of hard to see on the camera, but it's very cool and looks very nice. So you may really want to keep it to keep your Sentinel in. But anyways, this actually comes with quite a bit of stuff. It does have ultra heavy objects. It only has 2, but you can see them there. It comes with 2 ultra heavies, 4 heavies, and 4 lights, and each is just a different part of the Sentinel. As you can see, like the ultra heavies are, head and chest plate, and then the other ones are just like hands and arms and stuff. Another thing that's really cool is that as I was saying, the Sentinels have interchangeable parts. So as you can see here, the little chest plate can be switched out on him. You can put different things in his hand. As you can kind of see, he has a little slot for his hand. So they're kind of like Transformers or any other kind of action figure that you have when you're a kid. So you can change the parts out to make them look different. But the other really awesome thing is that this is a switch clicks. If you're unfamiliar with how this Sentinel works, he has an attack mode and a defensive mode, and it comes with 2 separate bases. And it's a switch clicks. Of course, since it's bigger than a standard size switch clicks, it works a little different. It kind of slides in these grooves all the way. It feels really nice. It was easy to get in there. It snapped in pretty well. Didn't have any issues with it. So that's pretty cool. Playability wise, these Sentinels are very good. You can switch back and forth between attack and defense, or you can just stick with one or the other. They each have 3 different point values that they can be played at, and they're each very good for their point values. The defense mode, of course, is defensive. It's hard to hit, it's hard to take down. It supports the rest of your team and helps capture and stuff. The attack mode is the opposite. It dishes out great damage. Excuse me. It has great attack capabilities. It has sharpshooter and pulse wave and psychic blast and all kinds of stuff. So it's pretty good too, and it has special attack powers as well. So I'm also a huge fan of Colossals, which will make me a little biased on this review. I collect all the HeroClix Colossals, so this was a must-have for me already. But I will just say, sculpt-wise, this is a beautiful figure. And then it's the very first figure that has interchangeable parts. And then playability wise, I haven't got a chance to play it out, but looking at the dial and the power sets, and we've done a review over this guy before on the podcast during an actual episode, he's pretty good. You're not going to be disappointed with him. So this is really cool. Just the parts of the Sentinel, and then also the objects, and getting another chance to get ultra heavies. And then now we want to take a quick look at the Horde tokens and see if any of them are worth mentioning. As I said earlier, there are 48 total. There are 4, I believe, 4 different kinds, and I'm going to get them all out here. and show you guys. 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have Mutant Protester. They gave us 12 of him, I believe. And he is 15 points. And I'll hold him up here in front of the camera so you can see him better. I'll have to give it a minute's focus, but he's 15 points. He has Force Blast and a special defense power. And then he has Empower. And Empower is very good for a 15-point piece, you know. Has a maximum stack of 8. And then let's see what their Horde power is. Friendly characters with the Brotherhood of Mutants or X-Men team ability or keyword can use Mastermind, but only to deal damage to this character. Now that is very good. So for 15 points, you can give more longevity to your X-Men or Brotherhood of Mutants piece, and that doesn't have a point restriction either, so that can make some pieces very, very good. So, and we have 10 of those babies, so you got plenty of, if you really want to give your piece lots of Mastermind fodder, or 12 of those Mastermind fodder, then you definitely can do that. Next is Human Protester, and we have not as many of him. They didn't give us, I think, just 4. Oh no, there's 2 separate stacks, sorry. So I guess he has 12 as well. And this guy kind of looks, you'll recognize the image from the comics, but he is only he is 10 points. He has reflexes and close combat expert, and he has a special, he's also a maximum stack of 8, and he has a special attack power. Characters within stack divided by 2 squares. So a max, since our max is 8, that would be 8 divided by 2, so a maximum of 4 squares or a minimum of 1. Possessing Brotherhood of Mutants or X-Men keyword or team ability cannot ignore pushing damage. That's pretty good. The only bad thing is we have to put him pretty close to harm's way, you know, before he'll be able to do that. And he costs 10 points. He does have a 15 reflexes, so at a 17 from melee he'll have a chance to live. But I don't like him quite as much as I did the other the Mutant Protester. And then next up we have Sentinel Hunter, and we have, looks like 12 of him. I'm guessing we get 12 of each. And he has 20 points, and he has a maximum stack of 4. And he is great for 20 points. Sidestep, Incapacitate, and Toughness. And then a special damage ability. When stacked, it can use Plasticity. And when maxed, it can use Capture. So at 80 points, it can use Capture. If with at least 2, you have Sidestep and Incap. So he's pretty good. He's pretty solid for 20 points. And then last but definitely not least, probably the best out of all these Horde tokens, is the Sentinel Sentry that comes in at 14 points. It has a maximum of 6. It has Indom for a Horde token, is very rare. It also has Giant Size, so it can carry other pieces for only 14 points. Smoke Cloud for only 14 points. And then a special defense power. So we are already getting lots of value. For 14 points we have a Carrier, Indom, and Smoke Cloud. Let's see what else he can do. When stacked, so for those of you unfamiliar, you just have a minimum of 2, so 28 points. Sentinel Sentry can use Barrier as a free action, but only to place half of the stack blocking tray markers. So let's think Adam, what's his maximum stack of a 6? So it divides it by 2, so the most we could have if we paid for 6 of these guys, that would be 84 points, and we would be placing 3 squares of Barrier every turn for free, and he'd be able to carry and use Smoke Cloud, or even take shots with the 5 range. But at minimum you could just pay 28 points and have, for 28 points you would have somebody who can carry, use Smoke Cloud, and do a one free square Barrier, and that's definitely well worth it. So these are looking good. Let's take a look at the maps, and I'll spread that out and give you a better look. Alright, for maps on one side, even though this says two maps, it's actually one double-sided map. We have Baxter Building here, and I really like this map. You know what it reminds me of is the Teen Titans map that came with, I think, the Fast Forces, where it's inside of the mansion, because you know you have outer levels that are pretty clear, and then you have walls that kind of you can take advantage of to go into a giant room that's in the center. But the giant room in this map has a lot of different spots of hindering mixed in there, and it has one giant that big piece there in the middle is actually blocking. So even while you're in this somewhat open room, you have ways to hide. But one thing I like about it better than the other one is the hallways are a little bit more open. It's a little bit wider. There's less walls. There is big squares of blocking there with one center row. I just really like the map construction for this map. And for close combat teams, if you have a team that's mostly close combat or a team that has short range, which the Deadpool set, that just came out, seems to have a lot of figures with 5, 6, 4, 5 range. This is a good map. So really happy with this map. Let's flip it over and see what the other one looks like. This is a very unique map. This is South Bronx, or Mutant Internment Center. If you see all these little squares here on one side of the starting areas there, these are all hindering, and it just alternates in a perfect grid like that. Those are all hindering. Then on the opposite side of the map, you have buildings, 2 buildings, and the ability to climb up on top of those buildings with stairs located there, as you can see. And there's hindering, tiny little spots of hindering, but none on the actual edges of the buildings. So from shooting from rooftop to rooftop you could hide if you had stealth, but at least it doesn't give you a huge advantage to be able to have starting printed hindering terrain on the edge like that. So picking side is going to be actually a big factor on this map, and it'll be an interesting map to play on. So I'm excited to try this map out too. So pretty happy with the maps. The other side isn't super unique, but I like the way it plays out, and this side is really unique and not something that you see every day. You rarely see maps that have very set grid features like this one does. Alright, so back to the $1 million question. Is this entire pack worth your $30? Well, let's go over what we got and what we thought about what we got. We got an excellent Colossal, a beautiful sculpt, an amazing new feature with interchangeable parts, something that I hope they continue to make, Colossals with special features like that, not just interchangeable parts too, but swappable dials that add greatly to the playability. Speaking of playability, the Sentinels, both sides have 3 different point values, which makes them much easier to fit on in different events. And they also give you 2 different ways to play the same sculpt. Then we got object tokens, heavy, lights, and then 2 ultra lights. We got a map, which is very cool. The Baxter Building, while it's not unique, it's a pretty cool map. I like the design of it. And then the other side is very unique, has kind of the graveyard going on with the perfect little grid of hindering squares on one side, and then the 2 buildings with elevated advantage on the other side. So that'll be an interesting map to play on. But the most important thing also is this puppy right here. This guy is going to be something to really watch out for. And the Sentinel Sentry for 14 points. This guy being able to carry your teammates, having smoke cloud, plasticity, and then the ability, if you paid 28 points at least, getting to place a free barrier marker up to 5 squares away that you can change every turn. This guy is something to watch out for. And honestly, the rest of the Horde tokens that we talked about, you get 4 different ones. None of them are bad, There's some that are okay, but that Mutant Sentry is great. He's one of the best Horde tokens we have in the game, in my opinion. So I really hope, I think this is worth your $30, Colossal figures are usually pretty expensive already, In the past, it's been at least $20. If you compare this to a starter set, you know, I think this is worth the money. I think this is worth the $30. You get 48 Horde tokens, a Colossal with interchangeable parts, some object tokens, and then an awesome map that's all themed around a specific event. I'm really digging it. I really hope that they start doing this more with more Colossals and more little themed packs like this. So if you're interested at all, you know, if this was something you were thinking about potentially getting, I think you should go ahead and get it. You know, it's worth the $30 in my opinion that you're going to drop on it. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening watching the videos, and then be sure to listen to our podcast weekly. Dial H for HeroClix. You can catch it on this same YouTube channel. Just hit the subscribe button. We put out the episodes weekly. Or if you would prefer it in audio form only, you can also catch it on iTunes and Podbean.com.